There are prisons with walls, and then there are prisons made of thoughts. You can't see the bars, but you feel them every sleepless night, every replayed memory, every moment you try to rest, but your mind refuses to let go. You are not trapped by the world. You are trapped by your own thinking. And the cruelest part? You built the cage yourself. This is SETHTRA Files, where silence speaks, and the mind finally hears the truth it's been avoiding. Overthinking begins innocently, as caution, as care. It starts with wanting to be prepared, to make the right decision, to avoid mistakes. But somewhere along the way, you stopped using your mind as a tool, and your mind started using you as a hostage. You think to feel safe, but every thought becomes a blade that cuts deeper. You analyze every word you said, every look you received, every silence that might mean something, until your brain confuses thinking with surviving. You're not living anymore. You're calculating existence. Psychology calls it rumination, the mind's endless replay of pain without resolution. You chew on the same worries over and over until they lose their shape but not their weight. You think if you keep analyzing the past, you'll change it. You think if you over-prepare for the future, you'll control it. But both are illusions. The truth is, overthinking isn't intelligence. It's fear wearing the mask of logic. Every thought has a purpose until it becomes protection. And when protection becomes obsession, the mind turns inward and attacks itself. You start doubting your choices, your worth, your instincts. You start rewriting your own memories to match your fear instead of your reality. You call it caution. You call it being thorough, but really it's avoidance. Avoidance of feeling. Because thinking feels safer than feeling. And control feels safer than surrender. The overthinker is not trying to be perfect. They're trying to be safe. They overanalyze because somewhere deep down, something unpredictable once hurt them. A broken promise, a betrayal, a moment when life proved that not knowing costs too much. So the brain made a deal. If I think enough, it won't happen again. But the deal was a trap because now the mind never stops. Overthinking is mental paralysis disguised as preparation. It gives you the illusion of control, but it steals your ability to move. You replay every scenario until you no longer know what's real. You question every feeling until you forget what it means to trust yourself. You become addicted to analyzing what went wrong instead of allowing yourself to simply live right now. The more you think, the less you feel. The less you feel, the more you think. And the cycle continues, a quiet war fought entirely within. The hardest truth is this: overthinking doesn't solve pain. It preserves it. It takes every wound and wraps it in logic so you never have to feel it directly. It turns trauma into data. It turns emotion into puzzles. It turns life into equations that never balance. You start mistaking emotional healing for mental analysis. You believe that understanding your pain equals freeing it. But knowing the reason isn't the same as releasing the emotion. Some truths can't be solved. They can only be felt and forgiven. You can't think your way out of overthinking. You can only feel your way through it. The moment you stop demanding answers, you begin to see what thinking has hidden from you all along, that peace was never logical, it was emotional. The mind believes in why, the heart believes in enough, and peace begins the day you realize you don't need to understand everything to heal. So how do you escape the prison of your own mind? Not by fighting thoughts, but by observing them. Not by controlling emotions, but by allowing them. Not by fixing the past, but by forgiving it. Overthinking loses its power the moment you stop believing every thought deserves your attention. Not every thought is truth. Not every worry is prophecy. Not every silence means rejection. Your mind is loud, but your truth is quiet. And if you listen carefully enough, you'll hear it beneath the noise. Every thought you've ever had began as a feeling. You can't silence the thoughts without healing the emotion underneath. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of losing control. So instead of asking, why can't I stop overthinking? Ask yourself, what am I afraid to feel? Because that's where freedom begins, not in your head, but in your heart. The mind's greatest trick is convincing you that worry equals safety. But the truth is, safety has never come from control. It comes from trust, from faith in your own resilience, from the quiet knowing that even if things go wrong, you'll still be okay. When you stop overthinking, you don't become careless. You become calm. You return to the simplicity that fear once stole from you. Peace doesn't mean the absence of thoughts. It means the absence of attachment to them. It's not silence, it's spaciousness. It's being able to say, I hear you, mind, but I choose stillness. And in that stillness, you'll discover that the mind was never your enemy. It was only afraid. The mind doesn't need to be silenced. It needs to be soothed. This is SETHTRA Files, where silence heals louder than sound, and every story reveals the unseen battles within us all. If this reflection resonated with you, subscribe not for more noise, but for more clarity. Because freedom begins the moment you stop believing every thought you think. Thank you for listening.